Alright, so I wanted to take time to talk about this NGK cable. A common swap for these bikes is to do some air upgrades, swap out the ECU or add a piggyback in, and throw some fuel at these, but never really seen anybody do anything ignition related, so I figured, hey, I'd go ahead and try it out, experiment, and swap out this cable. So the only thing on the market currently that I've seen is there is an individual coil pack, which I guess technically these are all technically an individual considering it's a single cylinder, but it goes directly on top and mounts to the top here. I don't know anything about it. I also don't want to spend over $400 to learn anything about it, because I imagine it requires a lot of rewiring. Those ones actually look like smart coils, so they're 4-pin setups. These ignition coils up here are actually a 2-pin setup, so they're kind of just dumb coils essentially. So as you can see, this is an NGK cable, also with a boot. The boot and cable actually come pre-assembled. However, I imagine like most cables, you can just unscrew it from here if you need to, but in this particular case, it wasn't really necessary. What I may end up doing at some point is I might add some heat shrink here, just to help keep out some of the elements, and also to add some strength in this section. They have some of the marine style heat shrink, which has an adhesive to help bond it. So this actually goes up through here, and then if you look down, you'll see that's the coil pack. This is the wires, and then if you look over here, that down there, that's the ground wire. It is freaking tiny. So I actually went ahead and added a ground wire as well. That's this cable down there, just to help ground the coil a little bit better. Now, that being said, this is the actual setup itself. It's a 5K ohm resistor boot. Now, the idea around this is, if you actually read NGK's website as well, this does not affect coil ignition at all. This resistor, I should say, in this particular case, is designed to help with radio noise transmission, especially to any of the surrounding sensors or anything like that. If you've done anything with tuning with cars, you'll know that these ignition cables and ignition sources, because of the frequency they put out and the high voltage that's put out from the coils, can actually introduce sound or noise into some of the surrounding cables. That can be particularly a problem with if you have we'll say a standalone setup and you're trying to get clean crank cam sensor signals and things of that nature. So all right, so with that being said, I actually had purchased a second coil. This is my original coil that I pulled off of here, and the one that's on my bike now is the one that I worked on. This is made from, I did a little bit of research. It's made from a company called, let me see if they can see it on it. It's like Bajaj. I don't know, it's an Indian-based company that makes a lot of coils or ignition products, and not a lot of information on these things, I'll be honest. I did quite a bit of searching. I even found a catalog, and couldn't find anything on this thing. It does have a part number. What I have noticed is that this part number is good up until, I believe it's like 2018, and then after that there was a part number switch. So I don't know if there was a change in coil packs to include some kind of improvement, but this is kind of what we're stuck with for now until I can figure something else out. Then you have obviously cable, and then you have the boot. Literally nothing special about this boot at all. I measured it for resistance, just kind of checking to see if there's anything good with this thing, and it just appears to be a means of transferring spark energy from this point to this point. So obviously there's a seal or rubber cap on here. On my other one, because like I said, I ordered 2 of these, I cut this in half so I can pull this boot out. I wanted to see how the fitment would be. This is some of the extra cable that I received. It was all one piece, but I cut it just because I was measuring some stuff. NGK obviously makes very high quality stuff, so that was kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to try it out. And then this is the actual packaging. The part number right here, CR3, stock number 8087. I actually got this on Amazon. I want to say it was $23, pretty much shipped to my house within a couple days. So, all right, so let's talk about fitment. So, as you can see, this cable is actually maybe a little bit too long. I measured it pretty close to the original cable, but I went a little bit higher. I think I added like an inch, and the idea around that was because of the fact that this part sticks straight up and then there has to be a curve. But if you look here, it's a straight 90-degree angle, right? So I wanted to account for if there was going to be any extra length. Now the good thing is that on this here, there's a collar here, and it sits right there, and it is absolutely perfect. The diameter, everything for the original dust cap, the boot. And then as far as fitment goes, it just slides right in. Give that a little turn. Tuck this cable in. Okay. Then seat it onto the spark plug. And then go ahead and put the dust boot on. And that's the part that's sticking out right there. So let's go ahead and we'll start it up. So, I've had 0 issues with it so far. I actually went and did a couple runs. Took it to maybe about 80 miles an hour, but I'm gonna try to get it on the freeway. Normally I ride at about 90 on the freeway. So far, no issues. Data logs I pulled. I haven't seen any changes in air-fuel ratios. With pretty much anything from the data that I've seen so far. I need to find a way to, I guess, provide some kind of data point that shows whether there's been an improvement or not on paper. Because as you can know, anybody can sit here and tell you, oh yeah, it feels great, blah, 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 this and that. But, being able to back that claim up is kind of one of those things that I'm looking for. So I'm going to try to see if I can figure some kind of way to numerically express the difference that I've felt so far. As far as feeling goes from driving it, I honestly feel like the ride is much smoother. Maybe not so much the ride, more of like the drivability, the going through the rev ranges, downshifting, things like that. I even went as far as pretty much taking it all the way to max RPM, wide open throttle pulls. I went to, let's see, high RPM throttle snaps. I even, slammed the throttle plate shut. Super high RPMs, things of that nature. Saw no changes in ignition timing or anything of that nature. And then even low range, first gear, driving around or riding around. Honestly, I felt like there was an improvement even at the lower range in first gear as far as the jerkiness goes. Even though this thing is tuned, and I've done a lot of tuning on this bike in the first place, but being a single cylinder thumper style setup, it does seem to me like there was definitely some kind of improvement overall. As far as engine power goes, I feel, to me, it feels like there's definitely a gain between the low and mid-range area. It feels like there's definitely been some kind of improvement in power. Obviously, there's no way of knowing unless I take this thing to a dyno, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for the money that I paid and the fact that, I feel like overall that there was definitely some kind of good improvement. Hopefully when I can get a means of providing data to prove that, I can put something else on here. But for now, definitely worthwhile. I'm gonna continue to report as I go. One of the things I didn't cover, which I kind of forgot to until just now, is how you go about installing it in the first place. For me, I actually ended up having to take off my tank plastic, left the tank on, removed everything else. There's two 8mm bolts that hold the coil. Let's see if you can see those from here. They are on top, like there and there. And then your coil will come out, and then from there you are left with this. So these are fairly simple. So in this case, you have this part here, and this literally just turns right off. And then that cable will come right out. So if you look, there is a threaded screw inside of there. There it is, a threaded screw. So installation is super easy, and you literally take your new cable, stick it on the end there, and then while pushing down, you're going to turn it right, lefty loosey, righty tighty, and then this will thread in further in, and then lock it in place. And then I reused, there's these little seals that go into here. I reused that seal for this one, and then pretty much good to go. Now, like I said, you don't have to really do it for this side because this side is pretty much safe. That's already screwed in, but I would, this is referring to the NGK cable, but I would, however, go ahead and add some marine style shrink wrap on there just to help prevent it from wiggling around and to help seal it as well. So that'll probably be the next step after I shorten my cable. I'll add that on there and then should call that good. Okay, other than that, oh, you know what? I do have one other precaution. Just remember that this is a hard plastic, right? You could probably, pull on these pretty hard. These are obviously a silicone style, plug. So don't come in here and just, rip up on the cable or anything like that. Just grab it from where the base is and then just lift it up that way. It doesn't take an incredible amount of force, so you can easily remove it with no issue. So, all right, that's about it. And then, like I said, once I get some more data, once I get more seat time, I can provide some kind of update. I will. Like I said, I rode the crap out of this thing and kind of put it through its paces, and I saw no negative effects at all. In fact, I would say I definitely saw some improvements, or at least I felt it, and then hopefully I'll be able to provide some factual data to back that claim up. All right, thanks guys.